Is this true? Meghan Markle has ruined your workout regime. Is this true? If so,
yes, she has.
Damn!
If she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season, fighting for Prince. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She just got lucky.
You're goddamn right.
The best thing is, no more following Granny's rules.
You sure about that?
If I want to play polo in my living room, who's gonna stop me?
Stop that.
Right away, Megs.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
Alexandra Daddario just casually destroyed Meghan Markle on live television. What started as innocent small talk about yoga quickly turned into the most honest takedown we've seen yet. But this wasn't some calculated roast or scripted joke. This was pure, unfiltered frustration from someone who's had enough of Meghan's bullshit disrupting normal people's lives. The White Lotus star didn't plan to expose the Duchess. She didn't even realize she was doing it. That's what made it so brutal and so perfect. Her story revealed something Hollywood has been whispering about for years: Meghan's toxic habit of making everything about herself, even when she's supposedly trying to be low-key. But one comedian went way further than Alexandra ever did and delivered the reality check that left everyone speechless. We'll get to that clip in a bit, but first you need to understand how we got here. It all started with what should have been harmless celebrity gossip on James Corden's show. Alexandra was just answering a simple question about her workout routine. Nothing controversial, nothing planned.
Is this true that Meghan Markle has ruined your workout regime? Is this true? If so, how?
Yes, she has.
How?
That nervous laugh says everything. Alexandra knew she was about to spill some truth that Meghan's PR team wouldn't appreciate, but she kept going anyway because sometimes the truth just needs to come out.
Well, she came into New York last weekend,
Yeah.
and she went to a yoga place called Moto Yoga, which is my yoga place. It's
Right.
where I always go.
Notice how Alexandra calls it my yoga place. She's been going there consistently, building a routine, finding her peace. Then Meghan shows up once, and suddenly it's about to become a circus.
They have places in LA and New York, but now that she went there, everyone's going to want to go there.
Right.
And there's not going to be any room. It's going to be harder to get into.
There it is, the Meghan effect in action. She doesn't even try to be considerate of the people who were there first. Alexandra's been going to this place regularly, probably for years, and now her sanctuary is about to turn into a tourist attraction because the Duchess decided she needed some yoga content. But here's what makes this so much worse than just being inconsiderate. Meghan and Harry constantly talk about wanting privacy and being left alone. Yet everywhere they go, they create exactly the kind of attention they claim to hate.
In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. But not too far.
That puppet nailed their hypocrisy perfectly. Living close to Oprah, but claiming they want privacy. Being far from paparazzi, but not too far. It's like they want to control the narrative on their terms only.
The best thing is, no more following Granny's rules. Don't wear your pants on your head, Harry. Don't bath on the butler, Harry.
Even a comedy show can see through Harry's act. He talks about freedom from royal rules, but he's just traded one set of restrictions for another. And Meghan's rules might be even stricter.
If I want to play polo in my living room, who's gonna stop me?
Stop that.
Right away, Megs.
That's the reality of their freedom. Harry thought he was escaping control, but he just found a new boss. And unlike the Queen, this one doesn't have centuries of diplomatic training. Alexandra's yoga story wasn't happening in isolation. Comedy's sharpest minds have been taking shots at Meghan for months, and each joke hits harder than the last. Jimmy Carr didn't hold back when he exposed the contradiction at the heart of Meghan's brand. The timing was perfect, right when she was pushing her feminist credentials the hardest.
I said Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job.
That's brutal. That's not just a joke. That's a complete dismantling of her entire persona. Carr called out the fundamental hypocrisy that everyone was thinking but nobody wanted to say. A lifelong feminist who gave up her career to marry into wealth and status? The math doesn't add up, but Hollywood's awakening really hit its peak at the Golden Globes. Joe Coy walked onto that stage and decided to make Harry and Meghan the punchline of the entire night.
Just a great series about a rich, white, dysfunctional family, all scheming. Oh no, that's the crown. That's the crown. I'm sorry.
The audience's reaction told you everything. That wasn't just a joke. That was Hollywood officially giving permission to mock the royal couple. When you're getting roasted at the Golden Globes, you've officially become fair game.
Her portrayal of the Queen was so good, Prince Harry called her for it and asked her for money.
That Prince Harry begging for money joke landed so hard because everyone knows it's basically true. They've burned through their royal connections, their Netflix deal is underwhelming, and their Spotify contract got canceled.
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix.
There's the reality check nobody wanted to acknowledge. Netflix is still paying them millions despite their content being mediocre at best. Most people work their asses off for a fraction of what these two get, for complaining about their privilege. Even Saturday Night Live couldn't resist piling on. Colin Jost delivered what might be the most savage trade deal joke in late-night history.
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
When America's comedy establishment is making jokes about returning you to Britain, you've officially worn out your welcome. That's not just comedy, that's a cultural referendum. The pattern was clear. Hollywood initially gave them a pass because they represented something different, but their constant victimhood and tone-deaf complaints turned industry sympathy into industry mockery. But one comedian said something way more savage than anything we've heard so far. We'll get to that clip, but first you need to see how their own documentary became comedy gold. The Netflix documentary was supposed to be their redemption arc. Harry and Meghan thought if they just told their side of the story, everyone would finally understand their struggle and sympathize with their pain. Instead, it became the biggest comedy goldmine of the year. Every episode gave comedians more material to work with.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. But now I've actually heard their side of the story, I fucking hate them.
That's exactly what happened to most viewers. People went in expecting to maybe feel some sympathy and came out completely turned off by their entitlement. The documentary didn't make them more relatable, it made them more insufferable. The worst part? They kept doing these cringe things that made normal people want to throw shit at their TV screens.
They started off and they're making interesting points about racism and misogyny. Then they start calling each other H&M, and I just thought, oh, off.
H&M? Seriously? That's not cute couple behavior. That's what happens when you're so far up your own ass that you think everything you do is adorable. Even late-night TV couldn't take their pet names seriously.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
When Stephen Colbert is mocking your nicknames, you know you've crossed the line from relatable to ridiculous. These aren't endearing quirks, they're signs of people who take themselves way too seriously. But the documentary's biggest failure was how it exposed their complete lack of self-awareness. They complained about the most ridiculous things while living in luxury.
Harry says, how do you explain to someone who just started dating that they have to curtsy to your own grandmother?
How do you explain that you bow to your grandmother and that you will need to curtsy, especially to an American? Like, that's weird.
And I'm thinking, maybe just tell her that your grandmother is the fucking queen.
Harry literally asked how to explain that someone has to curtsy to his grandmother. Dude, she's the Queen of England. That's like asking how to explain that water is wet. The fact that he thought this was some impossible conversation shows how disconnected from reality he really is. Their security complaints were the final straw for most people. They wanted taxpayers to fund their protection while they trashed the institution that made them famous.
They were complaining that to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack them.
6 episodes of them whining about paying for their own security made people want to attack them. That's not sympathy. That's the opposite of sympathy. When your sob story makes people more angry at you, you've failed spectacularly. The documentary revealed something brutal about Meghan's trajectory. Before Harry, she was just another struggling actress hoping for her big break.
If she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. Fighting for Prince. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She just got lucky.
That's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Meghan got lucky, plain and simple. Without Harry, she'd be competing with dozens of other actresses for reality TV spots. Instead, she got to skip the line and become royalty, then complained about how hard it was. Here's what Harry and Meghan never understood about America. We don't give a shit about royalty. We fought a whole war to get away from kings and queens telling us what to do. They moved to California expecting to be celebrated as rebels who chose love over duty. Instead, they discovered something much worse than British tabloid hatred, American indifference.
I mean this sincerely, Prince Harry and Meghan, we don't give a America don't give a fuck about you.
A lot of people care, dude.
We don't care about the royal family.
They got a Netflix
We never
show.
cared about nothing that had to do with y'all.
That is the reality check they needed to hear from day one. America doesn't care about your royal drama or your complaints about palace life. We have our own problems with healthcare, student debt, and actual systemic issues. Two privileged people whining about fancy dinner protocol? That's not relatable. That's tone deaf. They thought American media would be more sympathetic, but what they found was something more devastating. We just stopped caring. In America, being ignored is infinitely worse than being hated. At least hatred means people still care enough to have strong feelings. Indifference? That's the kiss of death for celebrity relevance. But the most brutal reality check came from someone nobody expected. Bill Maher, liberal comedian, celebrity defender, Hollywood insider, completely destroyed everything Harry and Meghan stand for. This wasn't some conservative pundit taking cheap shots. This was one of their own turning against them with surgical precision. And finally, here's the clip you've all been waiting for.
They're ridiculous after that. They want it both ways. You know, you can't be, these people were so mean to us, poor us, and we don't want all this attention, and then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
Maher nailed the core problem that everyone could see, but nobody articulated this perfectly. You can't complain about attention while literally writing books about not wanting attention. You can't play victim while actively seeking the spotlight. The hypocrisy became impossible to ignore, even for someone who usually defends celebrities against media attacks.
You're just fragile. Just take a hint from the Queen, the recently departed.
Never complain, never explain, and rarely be
Just-
heard speaking in public.
Damn, that's not just criticism. That's a masterclass in how to handle media attention. The Queen spent decades never explaining, never complaining, never making it about herself. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan can't go 5 minutes without telling us how hard their life is. But Maher's final point hit the hardest because it exposed the fundamental problem with their entire brand.
You're complaining about your hard life, and you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
It's ridiculous. I totally agree.
When Bill Maher calls you ridiculous, you've officially lost the culture war. This is a guy who built his career defending unpopular positions and controversial figures. If he thinks you're being absurd about your privilege, you've crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. The fact that even liberal Hollywood has turned against them shows how completely they've misread the room. They thought victimhood would equal sympathy, but instead it just highlighted how disconnected they are from real struggle. Alexandra Daddario's innocent yoga story perfectly captures what went wrong with Harry and Meghan's entire approach. She didn't plan to expose them. She just told the truth about how their behavior affects real people. That's all it took. This is the ultimate cautionary tale about privilege without self-awareness. Harry and Meghan had everything: royal status, global platform, unlimited opportunities, and public goodwill. They could have used that influence to make real change while living comfortable lives. Instead, they chose to bite the hand that fed them while demanding more food. They trashed the institution that gave them their fame, complained about the privileges that made them wealthy, and expected sympathy for problems that most people would kill to have. The result? They've become Hollywood's favorite punchline. From Alexandra's casual takedown to Bill Maher's savage reality check, everyone has permission to mock them now. They've lost the one thing celebrities can't survive without: public sympathy. Their story shows what happens when you mistake attention for affection and controversy for relevance. You can only play victim for so long before people stop caring about your complaints and start laughing at your contradictions. Harry and Meghan thought they could control their narrative through Netflix documentaries and tell-all interviews. What they discovered is that authenticity can't be manufactured, and victimhood expires when you're living in a mansion complaining about your hard life. The entertainment industry has spoken. America has moved on. Even their biggest supporters have had enough of the hypocrisy. So here's the question: is this the end of their relevance, or will they find new ways to make themselves the center of attention? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.